me this morning on Twitter that we shouldn't really credit Angelo for that goal. And it's interesting that they were talking about that on the broadcast because obviously I know that he was at the game, and I was at the game, so I didn't hear that. And so it's interesting to see. The commentators are making a point that that's not as easy as it should be.
No, it's not.
And so my response to him was, it still requires awareness.
Yep.
It still requires the pressure that Angelo was pushing up forward. Mm-hmm. And I said something else, I don't remember. But it requires Angelo to be doing something.
It requires
to be there to get that ball.
You're right. You're right. It requires intelligence to know what's happening. Mm-hmm. It also requires a certain athletic. You have to be able to run quickly to get there. You have to be off in a second. You have to know and get there and make that play.
Yep.
So if you're not an athletic guy, you're not going to make that play.
Right.
Angelo, however, is an athletic guy, and we've seen that now in this game especially.
Yep.
And so he makes that play, and I think he should get the goal. I mean, come on.
Yeah.
He did things to get. He still had to get past the goalie. Okay, what if he didn't get past the goalie?
Well, right, yeah.
What if the goalie makes some amazing dive play and gets the ball away from him? I mean, it's just that could happen. You know?
Yeah, I agree. You know, and I even mentioned to the guy on Twitter, I was like, are we going to discount every single forward who's ever done that?
No.
Because it was a kind of a bad pass?
No.
Because it requires skill. It just requires more than just being on the field.
Yeah, do we discount, let's go to the NBA. Do we discount like point guards who pick off a lazy pass from another point guard and go in for the layup? No, we don't. We give him 2 points. That's the way it works. He's smart, made the play. There you go.
Yeah, exactly. You know, I thought it was a very good game for Angelo.
Mm-hmm, it was.
It shows that he's trying, because I think, as you pointed out, the broadcast said 99 out of 100, you're not going to have that. And he did it.
And when we signed him, remember we looked at his goal scoring in, where was he playing before? Was it Columbia? Columbia. Looked at his goal scoring and said, not the greatest in the world. But he scored 2 goals last night. Yep. And I would hope that this is a kind of a stepping off point for him to be more aggressive on this team.
Right.
And when you have a guy like Darwin feeding you the ball and making those plays, and a guy like Miguel Ibarra, who had a great game last night.
Yes.
We were talking about this, 100% passing.
Yeah, E Pluribus Lunum shot out the passing stats for all the players. And because our passing was so abysmal, it was 64%. Mm-hmm. And Miguel Ibarra had 100%. 100%. And it wasn't like 2 passes. I think he had 20 passes.
Yeah, he was. We don't talk about. I don't think we talk about Miguel Ibarra enough.
I don't think we do either.
Because he's kind of like that. Like, how would I put it? He's that secondary player who just makes good plays.
Right.
And sometimes they work out, and sometimes they don't. He's not flashy like Darwin.
Right.
He just makes plays.
Yep.
You know, that's his deal. He is very. When he gets the ball, I'm not worried at all.
Right.
Because he's going to do what he has to do.
Yep.
And sometimes he gives it the ball, and sometimes he makes a good pass, and whatever. He's one of those secondary guys you need on a team like this.
Yeah.
You know?
Yeah, you know, he's good for half a dozen goals a year. Mm-hmm. He's probably the same amount of assists.
Yeah.
You know, he's relatively protective of the ball. Mm-hmm. And he's a good player.
Yep.
You know, and I really think, I wish the podcast would have been going last year, because in the off season they didn't protect him.
No, they didn't.
For the draft for LA. And I think that LA was just stupid in not getting him, because they ended up probably signing someone that's a $400,000 or $500,000 a year contract.
And Miguel is from
LA.
Yeah. So why wouldn't you sign a guy like that? You know?
Yeah.
And so like I was saying, we need good players on this team to kind of be the backups for the great guys, the Darwins. Yeah. And he has just done a lot of great things this year.
Yes.
You know?
Yeah, I agree. And to Angelo's point about goal scoring, this was brought up this morning on Twitter about how he's still... So it was a comparison with Christian Ramirez.
Of course.
So Christian Ramirez is averaging 0.69 goals every 90, and Angelo's only at 0.49.
Okay.
And, you know, my point, defensive Angelo has been, and again, nothing against Christian Ramirez. I love the player.
Yeah,
the guy.
Of course. Yeah.
But my defensive Angelo has been continuously, look, he's a forward. Mm-hmm. You're talking multiple games to get into the system.
That's right.
Darwin took 10 games to get into our system.
Yep.
Yeah, he scored in his first game.
Yep.
But then all of a sudden his stats just disappeared.
Mm-hmm.
I think he had 2 assists over the next 9 games or something like that. Yep. And 1 goal over the next 9 games. So he really didn't come alive until game 11.
Yep.
And we're expecting Angelo to step in.
Well,
it's not going to happen. He's in a new league. He's in a new system. He barely speaks English. Yep. You know, there are so many things. And then to compare him to Christian, who, you know, is all he did was change teams.
Yeah.
And on top of that, he went to a team that's LA.
Yep.
Has the quality that we could only dream of.
But I think that's always going to happen in instances like this, where you trade a guy like Christian, who was the most popular Loons player ever. I mean, going from the NSL days and coming here to MLS, you know, of course, everybody's going to have like a thing. And I love the guy. You've talked about this. We both love the guy. But a change had to be made.
Right.
Whether or not it was worth it, we will not know until probably next year. We cannot make judgment calls this year on whether that trade was worth it.
Exactly.
Because we brought in Angelo, and like you said, it's going to take him a while to get up to speed with this. And last night's game, like I said, was a great stepping point. Yeah. And hopefully he can continue doing that. He knows now that he's got Ibarra and he's got Darwin, and he can make some plays, and these guys are going to help him out a little bit.
Yep.
You know?
And, so I ran the numbers this morning, which is why I was making you wait in your garage while I got here. To finish the season at 0.69 goals and 90. Mm-hmm. So for Angelo to finish the season like Christian Ramirez, it would require him to do 4 more goals over the rest of the season.
Yeah.
Playing roughly 80 minutes a game. So, in my opinion, okay, we've got... let me pull up that schedule again. We've got Philadelphia. Mm-hmm. We've got Colorado, who's possibly the worst team in the league.
Yeah.
LA Galaxy, whose defense is
suspect.
And then Columbus, who's probably the best team that we've got going for us.
Yep.
So if I look at that, the last 4 games of the season, I'm thinking he stays healthy. We get Romario back next week, probably. Darwin stays healthy. Miguel stays healthy. You know, I'm thinking he could score 2 of those against Colorado alone.
Maybe.
Even better, the fact that Colorado and LA are at home.
Yeah.
I mean, you're talking... I think he's going to finish with 5 more goals this year. It's. I know it's a bit, optimistic.
I hope so.
But I think he'll score. The Columbus game is the one that I'm most sketchy about.
Yeah.
But I think he can get, for sure, 3 between Colorado and LA. I think he'll score every game.
But my question will be, is if at some point during the next 2 games, or even 3 games, all of a sudden we lose route of the playoffs, does he even play the final game of the year? Do we play all of our younger guys?
That is possible. Yeah. I would agree with that. In a vacuum. Okay.
I
think he'll make that.
All right.
Especially with the fact that Colorado or Columbus will clinch soon.
Yes.
So their last game of the season may not mean anything.
Yep.
LA, they're right on the cusp.
On the cusp, yep.
So they're going to be playing all out all their games, which I think is going to. Their defense is suspect enough to where if they really push for a win, they're going to open themselves up.
But even if he doesn't score 5 goals or even 4 goals in the next 4 games,
it doesn't matter.
We can't make a judgment on him until at least I'm being a little crazy on this, but I'm going to say it, halfway through next season.
Yeah, you're being insane.
Halfway. Because I think that you just started this season.
Sure.
You're going to have, I don't know how many games he's going to have with us this season. Probably what?
I think it's if he plays the last 5,
11.
it'll be 12.
12, okay.
Games, yeah.
But then we go into the off season.
Right.
So he's got 12 games with us in the off season. So you're going to lose a little bit going to the off season, and then you're going to come back. So maybe not half, maybe a quarter of the year into it then.
So I mean, I guess I can see your argument.
Yeah.
You're going to have personnel changes over the
exactly.
off-season.
Yeah.
Going to have to get used to some players. I would say, okay, so quarter of the season, you're talking. What is that?
6 games? No, 8.
8.5 games.
8.5
9
games.
games.
Yeah.
You're being nice. I would say if he's not, I'd say 5 games.
All right.
But sure, I get your argument. Though.
I'm just saying, the off season comes, you're going to have a little bit of a loss in the off season,
right?
And personnel changes, of course, and you won't have Alexi Gomez anymore. And no,
hopefully,
I'm just kidding. I hope we don't have him anymore. So,
however,
yes.
In his defense, maybe these last 4 games he'll just all of a sudden blossom.
If that happens, I'll get an Alexi Gomez tattoo on my back. Seriously, if he blossoms,
minute 59 of episode 15,
if he scores a bunch of goals and he just becomes like the ultimate player, yeah. But I highly doubt it's going to happen because it's getting cold now. It's getting cold.
I'm tweeting that.
I wouldn't tweet. The way you can tweet it, but
yeah. So why don't you just keep going while I tweet?
All right, you tweet that. So we go into the half leading by 2, right?
Right.
So we're up by 2, and of course, like the last game, I'm excited now because we're up by 2, and we're going to potentially win this game. But then again, my other side of my brain is going, this is the Loons. We find ways to make games interesting. We never close out games like we should close out games.
Yep.
And we go into the second half, and guess what? We do the exact same thing we did last game. We're flat. Yep. We don't look like we have any energy anymore. We're kind of coasting. We're in turtle mode again. And I want to preface this by saying I have a couple notes from last night's game. First and foremost, New York FC kept falling down like every damn penalty.
Yes.
And they were flopping all over the place.
Especially number 3 and number 8. And I can't remember who those were.
Well, number 8's like their top, the bearded guy?
No, that's...
Who's the bearded guy?
That's,
I don't remember what his name was, but...
Yeah, number 8's though the guy that came off injured.
Okay, all right.
But that dude was all over the ground.
They flopped so bad last night. And we had... the official on the field was the guy I really don't like. I can't think of his name.
Yeah.
We've had him before.
Yeah, we have.
And he is... How would I put it? He has no pattern of how he cards things and how he does he's just kind of all over the board.
Oh yeah, absolutely.
He picks and chooses what he wants to do, and he's got no semblance of what rules he should follow, and he just kind of does it.
Yep.
And so when I saw him out there and New York FC flopping all over the place, I said, "Oh great, this is going to be a game where we're going to have red cards and yellow cards and shit happen all over the place."
Yep.
And guess what? In the second half, it did happen.
Yeah, it was like the first half he kind of seemed he'd call some he'd call some weird thing, kind of soft fouls.
Yeah.
But for the most part, he was letting him play.
He was.
And then,